Hi, welcome, welcome. I'm so glad you've joined me today. I'm Kelly Pitts with Create with Kelley, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Lubbock, Texas, and serving customers all over the U.S. I'm happy to help you if you need any Stampin' Up! Products. I've got a lot of the ones listed that I've used on my Create with Kelley collection of Love Notes. That is the designer series paper that Stampin' Up! Has currently in the January to April catalog. And it's on page 17. And it has fun little pages. They're all 6x6, but some of them have images that are easily cut apart and used on multiple cards. And that's what I did. I tried to come up with creative ways to show both sides of those. Some of them were two-sided and had the little image a little bit different on one side than the other. So that's what we're doing here too. See, you can see this image and this image are the same card. What? How did we do that? It's not magic. It just took some thinking, and I still had struggled a little bit yesterday with figuring out how to cut that. So anyway, we're going to experiment today and see what we come up with. How about that? But I thought that was cute with the little camera image and saying we just click. Fun. So let me know who you are and where you're from. If you're watching, would love to have you share with your crafty friends, and I'll be glad to answer any questions. Just give me a comment. That'd be great. I will switch the camera over and we will make. This is actually card number 3, but it's the 4th one I'm making, so I confused myself and jumped ahead on the on the last card. Okay, here we go. We are making the We Just Click card, and we're going to start. We've got several different pieces that came from that DSP. Like I said, it's got the little hearts that we're going to use in one place. We're going to use this on the back of that. And then we've got the We Just Click image that's front back, a couple of pieces of basic white, and we're starting with the thick white card base. And then we had one piece that was 4x6, as you can tell, and it had some flowers on the back. And I wanted to keep those flowers, and I needed the peak hole, but I didn't just want I couldn't just do just a square out of here and make this fit on the card front, because the card front is 5.5 and these are 6. So I just cut it at, let's see, I didn't bring my ruler in once again. Let's see where I cut that. At 3.5. Cut that at 3.5. And then we're going to make a little frame like this. We're going to put it on and overlap it. We're going to put this one underneath so that it overlaps that 1/2 inch. It's not going to match exactly, but pretty close. So then I've just kind of taken that inside, and I'm going to show you how I cut it. And you may just think I'm kind of crazy, but I guess I could. You can't make it much bigger because this has to fit over it on the outside. So I could make that a little bit tighter, but I'll show you what the plan was on my Stampin' trimmer. And we're just going to take, it was about, let's see, that would be 14, 15, 16, 14 sixteenths, I guess is what that is. Let's see, 15. Okay. 16ths would be up to here. 15, 14, 13. 13 sixteenths is about where I put that to make that about right. And you have to kind of line it up here too. 1, 2, it's 3 notches over, 3 little notches over from whatever inch mark it is. So in from 1 inch, and then this would be 3 notches in up from 5. So if that makes sense, that's kind of where you start. But I made a template and then cut this from the template. So we'll see how we can do when we've got a camera right there. And I usually go back and forth twice. Okay, so then you're going to keep that same distance. Can you see? 1, 2, 3, notches over. Let me get that a little closer. I don't have a way to fancy up that camera. 1, 2, 3 notches over is where that is. That would be like 13/16. So we're going to stop about right there, which would be, it's hard to tell right there. I don't know. You're just going to have to play with it. Really. Once you've cut this paper out, you cut the center of that paper out, and then you'll cut the center of this. And I created this, designed it about probably 2 or 3 weeks ago. So I don't remember exactly how I came up with this template. Okay, let's see. There we go. That's how I did that. Okay. So I'm still lining it up here right off of the one. So 13/16 short of 1 inch, I guess is what that would be. So now we have that cut. Let's see how we did. And we're just going to glue this on. Oops, got a little stray there. So we're going to put the longest one on the top. So the short one goes on the bottom. And we're going to tuck it underneath that top one, right on the score line. So see, this is pretty close. May have to come down a little bit more. So that works. We're going to grab this where we've cut the center out. That was about that same distance, 13/16 is what we decided, I think. To get that about right. All right. Now I've got that. That's going to go underneath the other one. Move that over just a tad. If you use liquid glue, you can kind of manipulate it just a little bit. Whatever your favorite liquid glue is. Or if you want to be brave and use seal, seal I'm sure would work. It's just you don't have as much wiggle room if you need to peel it up and move it over a little bit. That's why I like the liquid for something like this. Okay, we're just lining that up at the top of the card, and the side edge over here and inside, everything kind of lines up pretty close. Okay. And let's get that bone folder on here and get that to where it will lay down a little better. Get it all burnished. I like to do both sides, the front and the back. Okay, now we've got this funky line, which is why we're going to cover that up with this shortly. But I'll show you how we get the inside in. We're just going to line this up. And you don't have a lot of room around the edge, just a little bit. So I'm going to just do that. Since we don't know where that is on here exactly, if you'll always put glue on the part you know it goes, then that usually works out better for you. So I'm going to outline right up by the edge. And we're going to plop this down on here. Okay, now I'm going to see how I did. Yeah, we're good there. And pretty close here. We're just trying to eyeball it. If y'all are really a lot more particular than I am, then you can get out your ruler and measure this side, this side, this side. But to me, it was not that big a deal. Okay, now this same way. We're going to bump that up right. In fact, I'm going to overlap it a little bit. That front one. Look here. How do we do? We could move it up just a little bit more. And we've still got our liquid glue on the card, so that seems to be holding up. Okay, we're good there. That's pretty close to even. Yay. And now on the inside, if you wanted to leave this to from, and fill that out, you could, but I think if you used any kind of a marker or anything, I think it would show from the front. So I decided to go ahead and use the Be My Valentine that came in the kit also, and just cover that up. You could pop it up, but since it's on the inside, I usually just lay that flat. So that's what I'm going to do there. Be My Valentine. Okay. Then on this card, I thought these were too heavy. I like this idea. I saw somebody do it, a demonstrator do that with the little corners, kind of like you used to put in a scrapbook in the photo corners, you know. But I really think it's just too much black. It's too heavy. So I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to do a little piece of black, tiny piece. So that's a 3x3. So this is a 1.5x3. But you just cut that designer series paper that way along the lines, and you'll know what it is, what the size is. All right, we're going to put this tiny piece on the inside, which is going to be it's about probably 1/8 of an inch by 3 inches. Just a little scrap. And then we're going to put this longer one on the front that goes all the way to 4 1/4. So it's still about 1/8 of an inch by 4 1/4. This little black strip. And I think I'm going to have an extra one of these kits where you get to make I would drop it on the whole dang thing, wouldn't I? It's hard to talk and think and be on camera all at the same time. And make a card. I have a little glue there. I can fix that a little bit later with my glue remover. Okay, or adhesive remover. There you go. How simple is that? See, then it has the black line here. So I feel like that just gives it a little continuity. But to make it a little bit more tie-in with the black, I'm going to go and do a little, this is one of our journaling pens from Stampin' Up. I just got this yesterday. So I had been trying to use the Stampin' Up marker, but we don't have those anymore. So I'm just going to outline a little bit in here, just a little heavier on the side where it's shaded darker. Doesn't have to be perfect. Just the whole image was kind of watercolory and showed some movement. So I'm just going in, making some little marks with the black. You can see I'm not being really particular. Just kind of missed that corner. That's okay. Don't stress out about it. It's not a big deal. Just kind of give it a little bit of some black accents here and there. Really, I'm kind of concentrating more on the shaded areas that the Stampin' Up concept artist used. You can see where those darker parts are. And just kind of go with it. Now, see how that ties in the black? So this doesn't feel as heavy, and it ties this in also. Got it. Thank you for your thumbs up. I appreciate it. Thanks for watching, y'all. Would love to know who you are, where you're from. We are going to do a little bit of that same shading on the image on the inside. Just kind of coming around the bottom here. Not even all the way around. That is a little off there, Kelley. Just to show you, it doesn't matter. Give it a little bit of character and make the black stand out a little more to match the black strip or stripe. Just kind of doing a little outline. These journaling pens are really smooth. I like it. So now we have a little bit more definition. You could do more if you wanted. I just wouldn't do every single thing because it's kind of watercolory. And I'm going to do a little bit of that every few ones of these random. See how it has those little loops there? See if I can get a little closer. So I'm just adding some black in there. Same thing, just kind of give it a little more definition and make it tie in a little better. Totally random. If I'm on the loop, great. If I'm off, that's fine. Just kind of gives it a little bit different flavor there. Okay. That's all I'm doing there. And then we're going to stamp the inside. I'm using the Reason to Celebrate set. I'm using the Valentine's Day and the Happy on the inside. And then I've got the little heart is from the, I think it's called, oh, With You in Mind. This is Julie Davison's $1 million sales stamp set, or whatever you call that. Million Sales Achiever, Julie Davison. This is her stamp set, and I'm using that little heart, and that is currently in the annual catalog this year. So yay, it's still in. I didn't buy a whole new Valentine's stamp set because I knew I was going to be using the DSP that had all of these images. So we're going to do this. This has some cherry cobbler, some real red, and is kind of a wash of a little bit of flirty flamingo, really. So we're going to put it on our Stampin' Pierce mat and do the Valentine's Day in real red. Turn this, no, that's easier. You may have to just move that like that. Sorry, y'all, it's going to cut off part of it for you, but you've got the gist, I know. Anybody have any questions so far? I'm not seeing any comments. Would love to see what you have to say. Hope you're enjoying this series. If you haven't seen any of the others, I've already done 3 cards, and I have some more to do. So we've got 7 cards total and a treat bag that we'll be doing in this series, all using 1/8 of the pack of Designer Series paper. So you could make 8 each of these cards, or you could split a pack with somebody. So the Happy is in Cherry Cobbler, and the Valentine's Day is in Real Red. And then I decided I wanted kind of a washed look for the heart. So I'm using Cherry Cobbler for that, but I'm going to stamp off and then stamp on so that it's lighter, using some pressure, making sure I still have plenty of ink. And now I have a faded kind of heart that kind of goes with this. Isn't that pretty? Easy peasy. But see, I like this better without those heavy corners. But it's up to you. If you want to do the heavy corners, you just cut a little square. This is a 3/4 square that I cut in half. 3/4 inch squares, 2 3/4 inch squares that I cut in half for the 4 corners. I'm going to clean this really quickly. If you don't clean off Cherry Cobbler or the darker, especially the reds, they really stain your stamps a lot. It doesn't hurt anything, but has a different look to it. Which one do y'all like? Do you like the corners? The dark corners or without? With corners or without? Which one is your favorite? Let me know in the comments if you would. And that is that Valentine's Day card, except for the embellishments on the front. That's all we like. Let me show you how I did those. I think it's easiest. This is with the loose Valentine's assortment. And I I would say if you're working with these, especially if you're having a class or in the class, get a few out in a little tray and use them from that and cover this back up. just in case something happens, you don't want to be trying to pick these all up off the floor. Okay, and I think it's easier to put a dab of glue where you know you want your little hearts or embellishments to go. And then I take my take your pick tool, the putty end, and I grab the heart that I want. See, it picks it right up, and then it goes right where you want it. Use a little pressure, leave it down. Whoops, not long enough. And use your fingernail if you need to make it stay there. Probably if I were more patient, it wouldn't have come back up. But I'm not. I know y'all don't have all day, so I am. And this is a busy week. Y'all having a great week? How many of you are doing Valentine cards? Do y'all do Valentine and Galentine cards? Because there's so many people out there who would love to get a card, even if they're not your sweetheart. It doesn't have to be just for sweethearts. It can be for friends and family, anybody who might need a pick-me-up around this time of year. Especially if you've got friends who have lost their spouses and won't get a Valentine card any other way. That's who you need to send one to. Think how cheered up you would be if you were getting a card on an unexpected holiday. Or an unexpected card on a holiday where you didn't expect to get a card. Does that make sense? Okay. And I think that is our whole card. We're going to pack those back up before I do something crazy with them. Okay. I'm going to switch the camera back over so I can say thanks again for tuning in. I appreciate you. And let's open one up so you can see the inside and the outside. Now we'll switch them. Thanks a lot for tuning in. If you have any comments or questions or need any supplies, the supplies should be listed in the video below this. So hope y'all have enjoyed this, and I'm about to do another card in just a few minutes. So stay tuned in, probably half an hour or so. I'll be back. Okay, thanks. Fun times ahead. Y'all enjoy. Hope you get your cards mailed in plenty of time for your friends to receive them. Thanks. Fun times ahead.